All right, y'all. Welcome to it. Welcome to it. Thank you guys once again for tuning in to the Brothers of Truth podcast. Unfortunately, my boy Aaron cannot be here today. He had some personal things going on, but we have a lovely show for you guys anyway. We're going to talk about relationships. This is the part two. Last time, it turns out we had number ladies. So this time, we want to make sure it was just straight fellas. So this whole weekend is going to be straight fellas. On the show today, you guys know one of the guests. We have Samuel Perkins coming back. He was on the show last week talking about mental health. We got him on the show this week as we got two people who are married. We have two married people on here, so I just want to make sure we got married people on. Tomorrow's episode, we're going to have the single people, or not, maybe not single, but the non-married people on the show tomorrow. And so, yeah, we're gonna dive right on into this, man. So I'm gonna go ahead and introduce my first guest. Very long friend of mine. You know, he's been a friend of mine since almost forever. Pretty much gave me my first haircut. You know, was my barber for the longest time. If he was near me, he would still be my barber. But coming to the show today, we have Rasan Wahid. Man, how are you doing today, Mr. Rasan?
Good, man. Thank you for having me on the show.
Anytime, man. Anytime, man. Thanks for coming on the show. We love it. You know, we love that. We love to talk to people like you and get your reviews and stuff like that. So, with that being said, man, we're just gonna dive right on into this first question. As we wait for Sam, now, but no. So the first question I wanted to ask you, man, is what is your definition of what's your definition of black love?
Black love. Ooh, I've never even wow, black love. Okay. Uh the word endurance pops in my head definitely. Our people endure a lot, man. We battle with the best of them. You know what I mean? When it's up, when it's down.
Right.
Well, you know what I mean? I don't know the percentage in terms of you know, the where we stand, African Americans, in the divorce rate, but I see a lot more people like the younger generation, man, believing in marriage. You know what I'm saying? So strong.
Yeah.
You know, we endure. It's beautiful. It's sweet.
Man, and that's what I would like to say. Whenever I think of black love, man, to me, like you said, you think of endurance. When one of my co-hosts asked that question to somebody who we had on the show a couple weeks ago when we did this episode the first time, and he asked that question. I had the same reaction as you. I was like, man, I ain't never thought about that. So I thought about it, and the first thing I thought about coming to my head was I had pictures. You know, I'm a visual person. So in my head, I see pictures of, you know, of course, Barack and Michelle. I see Martin Luther King as well as Coretta. I see Nelson and Minnie Mandela. You know, I just see power couples. I see the black couple is something powerful. And not only that, when I also see civil rights movements, and I see the Black Wall Street, because I know personally, without couples, without black love, the mother and father coming together, we wouldn't have a Black Wall Street. We wouldn't have had, you know, colleges. You know, we wouldn't have any of that. So most definitely, that's what I think about when I think of black love, just the power that comes from it, which is honestly, truthfully, why the government wants to destroy black love so much, because they know how powerful it is. So, but that's a different topic for a different day. We ain't gonna get into that.
Right, definitely, man. The word black just it took me for a loop when you said that. It kind of threw me off, like black love. Like I never identified love with
a color.
A color, yeah. But I'm not gonna lie, like I never saw myself being like marrying anything other than a black woman. So you know, since I was little. So you know what I mean. I know it's different for it's a lot of interracial couples nowadays. That's the thing, you know what I mean? But
right.
Since I was little, you know what I mean, I just never saw myself being I was, married to anything other than a black one.
Yeah, that's very true. Next question I got for you, man. When it comes to the black community, oh Lord, when it comes to the black community, where do you think we are, like in regards to relationships? I had some females on, like I said, the first segment of this, we had females on here, and they were talking about how they felt with as far as guys versus girls, and how they feel like too many times some of us are competing with each other instead of loving on each other, instead of actually trying to listen to each other. And some of the girls felt like that was a really big thing, and some of the girls felt like it wasn't a big of a thing. So, what is your interpretation on like on how males and females, how we interpret with each other, in the black community?
How we interpret with each other in the black community.
Like how we communicate. Like let's start with communication. How do you think the overall, not just you, not you and your wife, but overall?
Um, Man, I believe we're getting better. Uh, okay, for instance, because you made a statement earlier in terms of the man, the black man really like being not present in the home. You know what I mean? Uh, I feel like a lot of black women have lost. I'm not gonna say a lot. It's the younger generation. You know what I mean? Has lost respect for the black man. Um, there's certain things that certain black men just don't do to help. You know what I mean? But
Don't help it at all.
I've definitely seen a change. I see a lot of brothers actually getting custody of their kids. Um, it's a lot of things that plays into this, man. I cut in the inner city. I'm a barber in inner city, man, Northeast Ohio. So I see a lot of brothers sit in my chair and they actually want to be with their kids. They actually want a family. They actually strive for it. And I see a lot of women that utilize the kids as weapons. You know what I mean?
Mm,
Just
man, that's
completely
crazy.
disregard, what the man, what the father's rights, the legal system definitely doesn't support them right now. Well, hasn't been very supportive of the black man, but like I said, I see things changing. So, um, in terms of it's so much, man, that goes into that, man. But in terms of the man, like, and the black woman, like, and united and working together, man, I've seen some powerful things happen, man. I've seen some powerful things take shape. It just, the kids are different. I don't even relate to my kids.
Yeah,
I didn't grow up with a father. So just me being present in the home, my mother has my mother has pointed out that my kids are just different from all her other all her other grandkids, just with me
because
being in the home, because you know what
because
I
the
mean.
father's present.
And my other nieces and nephews, some of them, their fathers are present, but the mothers aren't together. So just the simple fact that me and my wife are together in the same household and they get to wake up to us every day is it's a game changer. I can't relate to my kids in that fashion because I didn't have that. So
Yeah, man, I can definitely well, I can definitely relate to. I mean, I had a father in the home, so I can't really say I didn't have a father in the home. He wasn't there the whole time. I mean, as you know, but so I really can't relate to some people. Recently, I just got back in touch with some of my brothers and sisters, and we all was telling stories about our father and stuff, and and some things that they were saying. I was just like, I can't relate to that. All that hatred, pent up hatred y'all got for this man.
yeah.
I, I'm sorry. Like, and then they said, Stu, how you feel? I'm just like, I ain't trying to say nothing because I ain't trying to be singled out. But I can't really say that.
Yeah,
You
yeah, man. Everybody have their own journey, man.
you know,
I don't know if that answers your question. I'm sorry.
oh no, it definitely, man, definitely. Even if you didn't answer the exact question, you answered in your own way. That's what we love here, man. 100% truth and honesty. But yeah, so first and foremost, before we get to the next question, man, tell the audience, man, how long you've been married, and what brought you to the lovely wife of yours.
Yo, I've been married 10 years, man. We just knocked down our 10th year, June 26th of this year, man. So 10 years, been together since high school, been together 16 years. I'm sorry, damn. No, 17. I'm sorry, 17 years. Whew. Yeah,
Oh,
17
I
years,
hope she
man.
don't watch this show. We are pregnant.
Yeah. Yeah, no, man. It's Ciroc. It's the Ciroc. No, man, 17 years, man. Been together since high school, since my sophomore year, December 19th, my sophomore year. So,
Okay,
um,
okay. Well, you better than me. You got the dates and stuff, man. Whenever me and my girl talk about when we met, I'm just like, sometime around Thanksgiving. I don't know.
yeah, man.
It was cold outside. That's how I remember.
Yeah, I remember that, man. I definitely remember the dates, man. That was a little transition season for me, man. High school. It got real quick.
Man, high school can do that to you. For me, it was more college. College helped me. My even though I was only in college for like I'm still in college right now, but being on a when I say in college, I mean like on a campus, on like in a dorm.
Right, right,
So
right.
so for
Fresh out of high school. Right, right.
right, so those 2 years of college was just like mind opening to me. The things you see, the things you do, just a whole bunch of stuff. So that was very mind changing. It was changed my mind about a lot of stuff. So that's good, man. That's a great story, man. Y'all high school sweethearts. Ain't a lot of those nowadays, but
Man, yeah, that shit is not easy. Not even to come on your show, man. It's it's
I don't know. You must not watch that often. We be cussing on this show.
hey man, it wasn't smooth, man. There was times I was looking like Will, like, how come she don't want me, man? But
Hey, how's your won't be man bringing that up? How you feel about the whole Will and Jada situation that's blowing up on the world right now?
man, it was I hate the fact that, man, I hate the fact that misery just people just make misery the meme of the moment. You know what I mean? Like they like froze this man's face and then like had a watermark of him back in the day talking to Uncle Phil like, how come you don't want me? Man? Oh man, that was I
Right,
did laugh.
that
I
was.
did. I did
Oh
laugh.
yeah,
That was
oh yeah.
yo, these cats are so creative. It is genius. But like I watched it. I only watched it once, but I'm not gonna lie, man. Like you could for me, man, when I could interpret like the look on his face, like you can really tell, man, he 100% in. He all the
Right.
way in, and he trying to love her the best of his ability with every fiber of his being. That's the look I seen, and that shit looks ugly. You know what I mean? It's a beauty in the ugliness of it, though. You know what I mean? Like, and the beauty is him actually pushing forward. You know, and her actually humbling herself to sit at her own table. You know what I mean? And she was on the
Right.
other side, and she was still trying to hold on entanglement. You know, she was still trying to
Man,
hold
look,
on
we tell
to.
you the
She was
memes
trying
with
to
the
hold
entanglement.
on, man. She was trying to hold on, man. She needed a little help, man. He like, just say what it is. A relationship. You know what I mean?
Right, right, right. That was
But and
man.
she
The
submitted.
memes.
She had to submit to that relationship. But I think they are dynamite, man, for even allowing us to even bless us with that, man.
Right.
Because it's a blessing, no matter how ugly it looked. You know what I mean? Like that was a blessing, man. Because that is how marriages look, man. Like
Right.
at its core, at times, you know what I mean? Like when it's up, bro. It's up. But when it's down, oh my gosh. You know what I mean? You gotta, oh
So
man. I mean,
that's why I enjoyed it.
you have to be stable. You have to be stable, like spiritually on the inside, man, in order to weather those things, man. Because if you not, dude, you will sway. You will sway, hands down. This shit is not for the faint of heart. I love it, but it is not for the faint of heart.
Man, that's good to hear. And I really do enjoy because, like I said, when I thought about Black Love and I listed all these couples and stuff, Brock and Michelle, Jay Z and Beyonce, all these people are seen as, I guess, the pinnacle of relationships when you think of Black Love and stuff like that. So I love what Will and Jada did because they put their mess out there and like, yo, and that's one thing I love about the Red Table Show is they dive deep into stuff and they break down all stigmas. Like, yo, marriage is not 100%. It ain't like Disney and what
Definitely,
Disney
man.
put out
Definitely. Everything, man, is created, you know, not just with words. It starts with a thought.
there. Right.
It starts with a thought, and they have really like reshaped the paradigm of what their marriage, the the typical marriage looks like, or what it's supposed to look like. They made it in a way that fits them, and it's it's not easy. You know what I mean? It's like building a building from the ground up, or building a business from the ground up. You know what I mean? It's a baby. You
Right.
gotta with a newborn, man. It's 24/7. It depends on you. You know what I
Right.
mean? It's like that, man. It's constant nurturing, man. You always have to, like when they say the grass is not greener, like, dude, you always have to tend to your lawn, dude.
Well,
Always, man.
I don't know about marriage life yet, but I can imagine. I think I'm getting up there though.
Well, I mean, you get bits and pieces of it in relationships. Again, everything is created from a thought, man. Your thoughts, and your significant other's thoughts, man. Like, however you guys want to shape your relationship, that's how it'll be. You know what I mean? And
Right.
you start the communication piece. That's what everybody says. Like, that's one of the main things that cause for divorce is communication. You know what I mean?
Exactly.
And finances is always, it's communication and finances. They always kind of teeter. You know what I mean? And
Exactly.
so definitely, man, on the communication side, if you guys aren't on one accord in terms of how you guys want your relationship to look, it's gonna get a little rocky, man.
It, de- it definitely will get rocky if your communication ain't there. With that being said, we Sam just chimed in, so we're gonna go ahead and bring him in. To everybody who watched the show, you guys know Sam. He was on the show last week, so shoot, Sam, welcome back on the show again.
That's Peter Ghost.
What up, brothers? How are you, man? Thanks for
What's
having me.
going on, man?
Nothing much, man. Just sitting here enjoying this Texas weather that I'm in right now, man.
You in Texaco.
Texas. Out
What
here
part of
in
Texas?
Waxahachie, Texas.
Waxahachie.
Boy, I'm not even gonna try to
Where
40
pronounce that.
minutes outside of 40 minutes outside of Dallas, 50 minutes outside of
Okay,
Dallas.
okay.
So we left Dallas and got in here yesterday. So yeah, just enjoying Texas, man.
That's dope, man.
That's great.
You know.
That is great. Well, I don't know if you heard.
So what did I miss? I hear y'all having great things.
I've been.
Y'all both were talking at the same time. I don't.
Yeah.
Right. So that's why we both pause. We both pause like, no, but yeah. So I'm gonna ask you the question I asked Basan when he first got on. Starting off, Sam. What is your definition of black love?
Wow. Black love. My man. Black love.
Hey, that's
All
exactly
right,
what I
man. Anybody who
did.
know me, man, I get black love, man. Like because it really comes to me like, like what's the definition of love? Like I don't think love has a color. I really don't. I don't think love is a color. I think love is something that's, and from me, that's defined in the Bible. Being honest, how I feel about love is defined. And when you often say this as you go through marital counseling or you go to church or your wedding day, you talk about how love is just patient. Love is kind. It doesn't envy. It doesn't boast. It doesn't brag. Like there is actually a clear-cut definition of what love is and what love isn't. And so I don't think love is actually defined as what is black love. Because if I'm actually being honest, we haven't shown what black love is a new thing. We haven't been loving in the sense of what is black love to our community as a whole, in my opinion. Obviously you get into a conversation of, our history through slavery, through civil rights, through Reconstruction, through all those periods. And there was a sense of community throughout those periods. But if you look at it in the past, 20, 30 years, have we been loving as a community to each other? I can't say it's been great. So we're that news term black love is trying to define what black love should be, in my opinion. That term, what is black love? I think that's what we believe love should be. And for sure, it's great. Black love, when they're talking about that, they're talking about look at that nice black marriage, a successful black marriage. That's where I think the term comes from. We're seeing success in marriage amongst black people. And that's a real thing because we come from, when you look at society, you realize that 72% of women are having kids out of wedlock, and you hear all these statistics that are thrown out, which are true. And many of the statistics are actually true. And so if you know these statistics, when you're hearing what is black love, you're hearing that two black people decide to get married and they stay together. They have a healthy marriage. They have a healthy family. That's what we're talking about. We're talking about black love. So what is black love? If you're saying it that way, it's a healthy black marriage, two healthy people being together. And I'm not saying they're not having issues or don't have problems throughout the marriage. It means that they're staying together in a union and they really believe in agreement. They really believe in the journey of life through marriage. I mean, you're looking at Rasan, if you're talking about black love, I've known him since I was 10, 11 years old. I saw him get married nearly 10, 12 years now. And 10 years, I saw him before he got married. He was with the same woman for maybe another 5. He's been dating the same woman since he was maybe 16, 17 years old. You see what I'm saying? So we're talking about black love. You're talking about sustainability. I'm looking at, man, this guy has sustained a relationship with the same person for nearly 17 years and counting, and has no plan of leaving, has no plan of abandoning ship. Black love that's what we're talking about. I'm healthy. I'm trying to help and keep a healthy marriage.
Right. Man, I like that definition. It was really good. What finally, almost what Rasan said earlier, almost mirrored it. So I'm glad y'all. This is kind of like the last 2 minutes
and
of
it's
the
probably mirrored it.
show, y'all. Well, y'all don't know each other's answers.
Right. Right. But I'm sure we're gonna have some answers in a sense. One, we kind of were raised together,
Yeah.
And so I don't want to say kind of. I mean, I grew up, with him, and so some of the lumps that we learned and the things that we saw and the way we see things came to fruition because we went through the journey together. I
Our mothers,
realized
man.
conversations that and stories that me and Rasani went through for forever. Yeah.
Our mothers, man.
Go ahead, Rasan.
No, I was just like our mothers. Shout out to Cheddar Cheese, man. Rashida Waheed and Mama Perkins, man, because they have a strong spiritual background, man, and they're I have to give the credit to them, man. Outside of God, I have to give them the credit because they instilled all of that in me in terms of how I was supposed to my duty, as a husband. My mom spoke that into existence in my life, man, as a to be a husband. I thought I was a little player. You know what I mean? But she's like, no, man, when you do this, when you do that, when you get your wife, and I'm like, damn. So I was already kind of grown to be this. You know what I mean? And when I met your mother, she just watered, seeds that was already planted in me. And in terms of not having a father, in the household, man, it was, I was pulling from coaches. I was pulling from things that I were great characteristics that were in my brothers and my friends who are my good friends who I'll call as brothers. Your dad, you know what I mean? It was rest in peace. There was a lot of, it was only the good qualities, the ones that I could think that I could use. You know what I mean? To
Right.
execute being that a good husband, man, and a dynamite father, man. It's fun, man. I'm not gonna lie. It's kind of bullshit, but it's fun.
No, you're right. No,
Man.
no, you're right. You're you can't put it any other way. Like honestly, like because realistically, when you're talking about we asked that question about black love, you're talking to two people who grew up in a single parent household. You're talking to two men who a lot of how black love was defined through us trying to figure it out, through mess ups, through struggle, because not only was it us, we got friends that we grew up with and had a core crew who all came from single mothers. And so our relationship establishes a kind of a thinking that was brought up by women, that was taught to us by women. That foundation of men, we had to kind of seek that out and find that. We had to find strong men to teach us the other side of what is love, to really figure out. Because I think, love is, you're talking about love from a mother to a son, but there is a love from a father to a son that we often miss. We often miss that portion that is so major in our lives, that those things, those foundational things that we're supposed to get taught. The love, because love from a mother, there's a legacy there. Man, there's a guy around at our church, a pastor who wrote a book on legacy, and being honest, part of the love of having a father is being able to pass down the history and the foundation that you should have moving forward. That's love. So black love is not just a relationship through marriage, but I think it also is how you're loving, your parents are loving to you, and how the generation loves from one generation to the next. Like, and our mothers did a great job trying to really instill things in us. And we're not saying that everybody's perfect, because they can't. My mother could never be a father. As much as she tried, and she tried to instill male thoughts and influence into my life, at some point she had to realize that she had to connect me with men, to help me understand how to be more loving, especially when I got married. One of the hardest things for me was realizing how to love my wife the way I needed to, because I didn't have a person who showed me what that looked like. The people that I married, the person that I think about when I think about marriage is my great grandparents. and they've been married for 70 years. That's not a relationship that I had closely. That wasn't something I saw often. It wasn't like I was talking to him every day. So really, realistically, I had to figure out what that looked like. And it wasn't until I came to North Carolina and I started seeing healthy marriages go, wow, this is, it wasn't, because once I left Ohio, it wasn't like I could see Rasan teaching me, hey, these are the lumps I'm taking. This is the things I'm learning along the journey. So when I got down here, I had to connect myself with people who really could show you what marriage is like, who really could show you and take you the steps of a true relationship, a true foundation of what it takes to really be in a marriage, what it really takes to be loving and to be kind. It's black love. That was a loaded question. Realistically, that's a loaded question.
And so I love how y'all broke it down, because like you said, love does not have a color. You and Rasan both said that. Am I mute? No, I'm not muted. Okay, love does not have a color, and love is just straight up love. You find the definition in the Bible, you find the definition in dictionaries, however you want to think about it. So um that's a really great way to put it. Cause like you said, a lot of different people shouldn't focus on different races, but that I want to put it that way to A, see your reaction, and B,
Yeah,
get your point of view. Is there a difference
for
between
sure.
how black
For
people
sure.
love and how white people love? Because there's a stigma going around that black people, they just love different. They just love different. The way they love is not how the way the Mexicans love. Not no, it's the same thing. I mean, yeah, now the traditions and the stigmas that go along with their relationships may be different, but as far as like,
For
I
sure.
love my wife, that's the same thing. No matter
Love
what
is the
race.
same. Cultures change. There's some cultural things, and that's a whole other conversation. What you're taught culturally, what your values are may change. But love is just love. Love is definable. It is something that we can define. But your values may shift that. And if
Right.
you're talking about culture, you look at the Mexican community or the Spanish community, man, what they believe and love is different. You can see, like, we may look at it like, yo, they got 10 people living in the house, and love for them is my family doesn't fail. We will support them in any
Right.
means necessary, and they can live here until we get ourselves together. Love, if you see in the white community, love for them, you see, hey, live here as long as you want. We'll support you, and then they move out. And a lot of times they can buy houses because they have no debt because their parents allowed them to live. Whereas black communities, that aspect is almost frowned upon. I can remember our mothers telling me and Rasan, hey, you don't work, you don't eat. Man, you gotta get out here and work. And that's a value they put on us. We gotta work. But something I learned now is, wait, what's wrong with my child standing at 25, getting strong, and when they get into the world, being at a 10 versus starting having to figure everything out at a 2. And now it takes them 10, 15 more years to really get to where they need to be. Versus I walk out the door, yep, when I leave, I'm good. So those are some qualities that are different, in our values, not in how.
Yeah, man, our environment, we were blessed to be in Kent, man. Our environment, man, I believe really helped shape a lot of the values that we had. You came from Cleveland. I came from Akron. If that
Yeah,
ain't dog eat dog, you know what I mean? Survivors, you know what I mean? It's every man for
yeah,
himself. And in Kent, that community, that small community, got a lot done in a little bit of time working together. You know what I mean?
for
I
sure.
remember, man, dude, we went to the hoop court, and I mean, out of the five of us, maybe four of us, didn't have money. And you know what I mean? One of us might only had 25 cents for a oatmeal cream pie. Dude, we will split that oatmeal. We will
With
break
that
that oatmeal
oatmeal cream
cream
pie,
pie up, bro, to make
for
sure
sure.
everybody got a fair share, bro, and we all don't go hungry. And it wasn't no you owe me or nothing like that. It was just, if I'm gonna eat, you gonna eat. And it was no question. That's just how it was, man. Always like
Right.
that, man. And none of us was lazy by far where we was living off somebody else's hard work. We all wanted to pull our own weight. You know what I mean?
For
So
sure.
to move back, when I moved back to Akron, dude, that type of love, you talking about dude, that type
Right.
of love, bro, not black love, that type of love. Dude, that was one of the hardest things that I had to get to adapt to. You know what I mean? Because when you talking about
Right.
relationships, adaptability, like you have to adapt. You're not gonna be the same in your 30s as you were in your 20s. You know what I mean? But that was
For
tough for me
sure.
to adapt to, making new friends and new acquaintances and they not having those same values and having to build that all over again. And some people don't even want it. Oh my God, relationships,
For
dude,
sure.
a task.
A task. For sure.
I
And
probably went
learning
off
that level
subject,
of
but
no. What you're saying is gold, bro, because that was a level of we truly learned what unconditional love was what is. That's something that we learned. Like I'm going back and going like, man, we truly went that we took that basketball thing if somebody have and that extended to as we got older and had more money to we got to IHOP. And IHOP being like, and no matter what, everybody eat. That's a rule. That was a
yeah,
core
bro.
value. Everybody eats. But that's unconditional. Even with moving, all of us moving away, and we bicker, we fight. There is a level of I'm still gonna just love you no matter what, and no matter how long and how far, how many days we go without talking, you come back and go, yeah, like I just have brothers that I just love, and that type of love that we learned from that man, it can get people to be emotional because everybody don't have that. Everybody can't say that they have it.
Why don't people want that? That's so crazy.
Man, I think as the generations go along, I don't think it's actually taught. I think we were fortunate. I think we were fortunate to see a group of women go, let's merge, let's have a community, and then we almost like follow suit. So now it's easy for us to do relationships. It's easy for us to go like, oh, I got a new relationship, and that's okay. Whereas for everybody else, that's not necessarily something they get.
Dude, when you said the word fortunate, the first thing that popped in my head was responsibility. Like, because we were fortunate,
yeah,
it is our responsibility to show that despite how people act, dude, that is so tough. That is so tough.
That's tough.
It didn't seem like it was that much work. All right, my fault. Go ahead.
No, you good.
I'm listening to y'all. I'm just thinking about something that I've heard for the longest time. Sam, you might have heard this. Sam, you probably heard this too. The 10% of black people. That's the rule that a lot of cultures have gone by. At least that's what I've heard. Is that 10% of the black community, or the gifted 10? They make it out. They get the education. They get the front end jobs. The 10% of the black community gets lifted up and becomes, I guess, part of white society. So as you two, the ones who were fortunate enough to have this, I would definitely say you guys were maybe part of that 10%. So how do you guys feel about using that status as like you said? You have to carry the other 90, or you have to speak for the other 90.
I don't think I have a duty. I don't have a duty to carry. I have a duty to teach. I can't. I mean, when you say carry, I feel like you're saying like I gotta walk you to the water, make you drink the water, and make sure you get back.
Yeah, that was bad. That was a bad word.
No, what you said is fine. But for me, I'm like, I don't feel like I have a duty to carry you. I think my duty is to teach you and to tell you. And if I teach you and tell you and you don't utilize it, I don't know if that's my fault.
Right.
I just don't know if I blame myself and I try to teach you and I try to teach you and I try to tell you and I don't know, because, and here's the thing, now we're talking a whole nother subject, which I'm cool switching and going through, because that's a subject of, we aren't always trusting as Black people.
No.
We're not always trusting of the information. And I'll say it this way, and I have this conversation with friends all the time. We'll go, yeah, I'll go to a white doctor. I'll go to a Indian doctor. Like, yep. And then it's like, well, why don't you go to a Black doctor? Shoot, man, I don't know about that. Wait. We just gotta be trusting of each other. We have to build community with each other. Even with conversations and the relationship building, like, we have talks about Black Wall Street all the time, how business used to boom in the Black community. But that meant relationships used to boom in the Black community. That makes sense. There was a level of communication, a level of relationship that allowed you to go, I will protect and support us. And it's almost like it came away like it's not right to do that. But that's not true. That's our duty. That's what I want to teach is, yo, I got you. There's not one time I call our son that, and he probably, the same way I do you, he probably be like, here you go again. There's not one time I talk to him now and go, hey, what you doing right now? What's your dream? Where are you trying to go? If I get on the phone with him, I'm going to at some point ask him where is he headed. That's my duty, to make sure we keep pushing, we keep moving. That's how you get people be in that percentage. It's because I'm always, hey, what's next? All right. And I have friends that do the same thing with me. I'm down here with a good friend of mine who's a pastor named Pastor Minnie. And every time we get together, he goes, so what are you doing? What's next? What's this plan? Now, my duty is to take the information and go, all right, how do I implement this? We talk dreams, we talk plans. How do I implement what we just talked
about? Right. Okay. So my next question will be going based off of that. We had you go listen to, what is it? Relationships and Communication is the name of the episode. Basically 2 weeks ago, the podcast from 2 weeks ago is how this episode came to be. And one of the ladies on there was talking about submission and how women should submit to their husbands, and that's just how God works. Ever since hearing that, I've seen a whole bunch of stuff about women submitting to their men on Facebook, and I saw a Facebook post yesterday, like last night, of a woman. She said, "I'll submit to you when you prove you can protect me." So that brings up the question I have right now. Do you feel like a lot of Black women do not? They feel like Black men can't protect as good as they should anymore. One of you guys, whoever wants to answer first.
I'm gonna let Rasan go first because I know I've been talking a lot. I got some fire over here.
All right, ask me the question again.
So, do you feel like women's point of view on Black men protecting, the Black man being the protector, has been skewed to a negative point of view?
Man, that is loaded. I mean, because it depends on the level of thinking. It depends on the level of thinking. If you're thinking physically, then by all means, yes. You know what I mean? But when you talk about like intellectually, when you, first of all, we don't like dealing with the law. So, so when you're dealing with the law, you know what I mean, then that's a whole nother story, man. Then I think, you know, when you're playing on that level, then it's so much against us. I hate to sound like that, man, but it is what it is. You know what I mean? So it's like it's so many snares, man, in terms of the Black man. I believe that that I feel like they can't. I feel like they, you know, they feel like that. Like like even the welfare situation, you know, they were promised to be taken care of as long as the black man wasn't in the home. You know what I mean? And and if he was in a home, you know, he had to try to find a job or whatever. I'm talking about the common black man. You know what I mean? And
Right.
it was set up for him to fail, you to not get certain jobs and this, that, and the third. So it was like how are you gonna
Exactly.
protect me? How are you gonna provide for me? You know what I mean? So and it's unconscious when those things when those things it's discouraging, man. And they don't I feel like a lot of black women don't mean to, but it just, you know, the respect level and all of that, like I was saying earlier, just diminishes. You know what I mean? They don't necessarily mean to. It's just like unconsciously happens when you're faced with adversity like 24/7. You know what I mean? As much as you get scolded, man, you also gotta, you know, this balance is important. You also gotta be rewarded. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
No, that's
Most definitely. So,
real. That's real. And here, okay, I'm going to answer this I'm going to try to keep it short. But I'm going to try to be really specific because you said something about submission and you said something about protecting. When we talk about the reason this word submission is a problem for many women, it's because men have mistreated that value. So now when people hear submission, they actually hear a word that is not valued as this is going to keep me as a good thing. It's a negative connotation to the word submission. That makes sense. We're talking about submission. A lot of times it comes as a negative connotation, and a lot of times, especially in the church community, when you talk the foundations of submission, most only give you the one line, which is women submit to your husbands. And that's it. Most people who mistreat that, most men who mistreat that portion where it's just, no, you submit to me. No, you submit to me. No, you submit to me. The problem with that is there is a second portion to that actual scripture. And it is for men to actually treat women as Christ did the church. That's a submission, which means we know if we actually talk about what Christ did to the church, he died because he loved the church. He died for us as us. That onus is on us as men. We only talk about the first portion, which is you submit. Wait. There is also a submission for us. There is also a mantle for us. And we can't mistreat that part. The second part I will say about submission, our pastor is a great speaker about this, our senior pastor. And the second part is this: you don't actually have to submit if you agree. If we agree, if me and my wife are in agreement, we don't have to do submission. That's something that happens when we are in disagreement. So the first part of this question, when you said submission, that's because there's been some mistreatment by men on women. You utilizing the word submission, so now there's a connotation. When in actuality, there is no negative connotation. You know this. I said men should die for the church. Die, right? That's our onus. Mm-hmm. How do I know? If bullets start flying, men's job are to protect the wife. Men's job is to protect the kids. That's on us. And nobody's ever going to look at my wife and go, "Guns was blazing. Why didn't you go protect your husband?" Because that's not their call.
Exactly.
So when you hear the word protection, and a lot of things, and a lot of men mistake the word protection. They think that when I come and my job is to protect, that means Oh, great. I got to protect my home. You know what? I got a gun now. I can protect my home. I'm good. You have missed the word in the true form of what you're supposed to do when you're called to protect your home and your family and your wife. As me, as a man, I actually protect my wife in a natural physical sense. I also protect her emotionally. I do not mistreat my wife because my job is to make sure she's safe from me.
Right.
If I'm out here and I'm cussing at her, fussing at her, wait. That means me in the natural sense am not protecting her from myself. That is first. I protect her from me. Then I protect her from other things. I'm not just, most people think I gotta protect her physically. No. If I protect her physically, but I'm always emotionally beating her up, then I'm not protecting her.
There it is.
Just protecting her in that way. And ways women who are dating, now this is people who want to get in a relationship. This is good information. Write it down. If you are interested in a relationship, women should start watching for how those stages of protection. That happens in dating. Because women all the way want to know, not only can you protect me, but can you protect our kids? Can you protect our kids emotionally? Can you protect them, their careers and their goals and their aspirations? Are you protecting more than just our physical? Right. Are you present? Black love again. Are you present to protect us as a whole? Our mind, our intellect. Are you teaching us? All those things are the job, because at the end of the day, onus of men is to cast vision for the household. That's on us. So protection is not just physical, man. Protection is a So can I see why women get frustrated by that? Can I see why women say, I don't feel like men are still protecting? Yeah. I can see it. And men have to do a better job of just not thinking they have to protect in the natural sense. The same goes with providing. A lot of times men go, oh, I'm providing finances. Wait. Your number one job is not just to provide finances. The word provide comes from a word, if I break it up and I do the etymology of the word, I have vision before. I have vision for the household. I have vision for the money. I actually, my job is not finance. My job is to have vision for the whole house. And if I can have vision for the whole house and clarity for where we're going, you can just trust me. Protection, question, can she trust you? Protection, can she trust you? Provide for you. Those all things go together. Can she just trust you?
Right.
Acts 2 and 7.
That's what I want. Can she just trust you?
Oh man, that's
I knew
good,
I was gonna have I knew I had a lot. But
Bishop, you were in the book of Acts, Bishop.
Hey, Ratam, man, you know what family we come from, man. Look, my co-host says the same thing, man. When I get passionate and stuff, if you've ever listened to any of my podcasts, I do the same thing. I go on and I spit facts. The first episode of the relationships we were talking about it, I gave the whole history. I went back. If you go back and listen to that podcast, man, I went back all the way back to slavery days, and I said how a lot of black couples, a lot of couples nowadays, the disconnect nowadays, I believe really started back in slavery, and it was intentional. It was intentional back then. It's still intentional now, to the point to where it started with Willie Lynch. And then Jim Crow made a big thing. That they realized it's impossible to control these people if they love each other. So the way to destroy the black family is to destroy the black couple. And so that's and ever since from all the way back in 16, all the way back from the 1600s, the black couple has been under attack for generation after generation after generation after generation. And so that's how if you go back and listen to the very first episode of the Black. I think it's entitled Black Love and Communication. I spent like a good 25, 30 minutes on that. Speaking on before we talk about anything else, before we talk about the crack epidemic, when the fathers got taken away, cracking, you have to first start at slavery, because before slavery, yeah, we might have had some scuffles and stuff, but we was in Africa chilling, doing our thing. So it really started because when the slave masters took the black man away, they didn't just take them away; they also made them look negative. Because as I said in the show, you can't just take the black man out the home because then he's a martyr, then he's a hero. You must first. I mean, you've seen this in superhero movie stuff all the time. The villain doesn't want to just kill the hero; he wants to make the hero not look like a hero. And so that's what happens to that, and that's really what I believe Willie Lynch did when after with the things he did. He didn't just man. He before he killed the black man, the enemy, and then killed the black man. So that way, the black woman had to depend on the white slave master. Reading Willie Lynch letter, man, really opened my eyes to a whole lot of stuff, and that was really deep to me. Where I think a lot of couples nowadays, it's just an effect. All that's just a trickle down effect of people who are not educated to know that this is why black light skins versus dark skins don't like each other. This is why women and men have disagreement. It goes all the way back to the 1600s. So
I
that's that.
mean, it goes back before that, man. Before Willie Lynch and slavery over here, like we were kings and queens. You know what I mean? And we too had slaves. You know
Yeah,
what I mean? So
Yeah.
when you talk like that, man, it's when you talk like that, it kind of even I hate to say that, man. It kind of evens the playing field. It's like at the end of the day, like I discovered, man, it wasn't no black and white thing. It was just good and evil. You know what I mean? Right and wrong. Bottom line. That's why I see it now. I take some flack for that. I take some flack for that, man. Like cats don't like to hear, especially now with Trump in office. They don't want me to. They want me to be all Black Lives Matter, man. But
Right.
but the truth is, man, this if you really peeping what's going on, man, this dude like enemy of my enemy is my friend. This dude is lightweight making it happen for us, low key. If you know what you doing, you know what I'm saying. So
Right.
that's
with that
another
being said, it's
subject,
time to
though.
get Rasan off the
Uh,
show. It's time to cut his can of garbage.
I'm just saying, man. You got to pay attention. Hey.
All right, so I just got one last question for the
Yeah.
both of y'all, and then we're gonna go ahead and end this show. My last question for both of y'all:
For sure.
Do you feel? Let me go to. Okay. Do you believe? Actually, I guess Rasan, you started first, or Sam, you start this off first. Try to keep within 3 minutes. No, I'm just kidding. Do you believe marriage is taken
I'm
seriously as it
good.
should be? Sam, what's on you?
Do I believe marriage is taken as seriously as it should be? I think it depends on the person. I think there are people who mistreat marriage. I think there's people who don't have an understanding of marriage. I think there are people who like the idea of marriage, but people who truly understand marriage, I think they understand that we are in a marathon. This ain't no sprint. Obviously, I'm a track guy, so I'm gonna do track terms. We not running no 100, 200, no 400. This ain't no quick race.
Right.
I'm in a marathon. I'm in a life journey. And so the people who truly understand that, understand the person I married at 25 is certainly not going to be the person I married at 30 or 35. And I got that from a person that was married for 40 years. And she said, you will be foolish to be like, oh, I mean, he just different. He ain't the same like he used to be. He shouldn't be. She shouldn't be.
Right.
You guys should be changing and evolving and learning and growing together. If they're in the same place that you were at 25 and now you're 40, my God, you might be in trouble. You might have a serious problem. So the people who really understand marriage, man, they understand that I am not in a sprint. I am in this for a long haul. And yeah, there are going to be some seasons where she loves me more than I love her. There are going to be some seasons where I love her more than she loves me. And you go through the lulls, but you're in it for the long haul. I'm not in it just for a quick thrill. The people who fail, some of it is I misunderstood what I was getting into, or I got into it thinking I liked the idea, but I didn't get into it recognizing right.
That's good right there. That's definitely good. I feel you on that. I feel like a lot of people just don't truly understand the interpretation of marriage. So that's really good point of view to think about it. Rasan, what you think?
Um, man, I think that once you accept the fact that you're going to be a student forever, the better off you'll be when it comes to marriage. Again,
That's
I said it earlier. Like personally, man, you know what I mean. I'm 34 right now, but I'm definitely not the same as I was in my 20s. You know what I mean? Once I accepted the fact that I would be a forever student. As times change, I have to adapt or I'd get swallowed up. I get swallowed up. You know what I mean? Like right now, for instance, our currency, the dollar is going to shit. Things are turning digital. Facebook already has its own digital currency. You know what I mean? Bitcoin is here and it ain't going nowhere. You know what I mean? You got God's money, gold and silver. You know what I'm saying? So things are changing, man, and you have to adapt. Now, if I want to be stubborn and you know what I mean, want to and sit and hope and pray that things will go back to the way it used to be, like this corona has changed everything. Some people want it to go, are waiting for it to go back to how it was, and it's not. It's here. The change is here. You know what I mean?
For
It's
sure.
here. It's here to stay. So it's like you have to be a forever student, man. I always think about Will Smith's line. I gotta study just to keep with the changing times. 101 Dalmatians on your CD-ROM. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
he had a son, man, and in order to stay relevant, to be a relevant dad, and to continue to be effective as a father, he had to change things that he wasn't interested in. He had to become interested in. He had to learn about in order to be effective for the sake of his son, man. You know what I mean? Like so, definitely, man. I believe that, man. If you're a forever student, man, you'll take marriage seriously. You'll take any relationship serious, business, romantic. You'll take any relationship serious because it changes, it evolves. You know what I mean? Like, what, man, dude, there's been times I wanted to leave just off sex alone. You know what I'm saying? I'm just keeping it 100, man. But
keep it
you know what I
real.
mean. We horny toads as youngins. You know what I mean.
And
Girls don't transition until they 30s. When they hit 30, they like, they like a little, little locomotive thing. But you know what I mean. It's like when you think long term, man. When you play chess and not checkers, it's like, dude, at 70, 80 years old, her spine gonna be crooked. She gonna be bend over. My man's ain't gonna work. Like, am I really gonna leave then? What I look like stepping out of 70 because you know what I mean? Or didn't if I'm not incapable of performing, I definitely don't want her to leave me. Cause ain't nobody gonna want me. You know what I'm saying? So
Most definitely.
you know what I'm saying? So you can't, you gotta have your cake and eat it too, man. Trey Songz was lying when he said that. Man, but definitely, man, if you're a forever student, man, I think you will be okay, man. You'll be able to adapt, man, and you'll be able to withstand anything that life puts before you.
Mm. And
For sure.
man, once again, y'all always drop knowledge. That's why I love talking to Sam. I love talking to you. I love talking to just the older generation. I mean, y'all not that much older than us, but even still, y'all the next you guys are the next phase of my life, and according to the demographics of the show, the next phase of all of my listeners' lives. So this is really helpful to all the guys listening and all the girls listening
For
for what they
sure.
can expect when they reach the 30, 35, 33, 34, 35-year-old mark. So hey, thank you guys for the insight.
Hey, I'm not even gonna lie, man. Your generation is killing it, man. Your generation has a fearlessness about itself that
For sure.
I had. I I want to say that it was killed in me. I had to breathe breath in this thing for me. You know what I mean? Like,
For sure.
dude, I had to relearn this fearlessness thing, dude. And fear isn't something that it's not something that you can just for real let go, dog. This should take work. It's an everyday struggle, but it seemed like your generation is born with this fearlessness that y'all just jump. Y'all just
Yeah.
jump. Y'all just shoot y'all shot. And I love it. My son is like that. Dude, he just go for it. And I let him do his thing. It's something as simple as matching. Dude, this dude don't match at all. Like he will put on a sweater. It's 90 degrees out. This dude will put on a sweater and these shorts. And I'm like, that's what you want to wear? He like, yeah, with these cowboy boots. And I'd be like, all right. And his mom be so mad at me, dog, when she pick him up from the daycare. Like, why is he doing this? I'll be like, I let him do what he want to do. I let him,
Right.
I let him, you know what I'm saying, make his own decisions, man, because I just love it's innate, it's in him, man. And that's something I had to learn. And I'm like, I see it and I gotta cultivate it, dude. I don't know what
Yeah.
this man is gonna do. I don't know what my son gonna do, but he gonna be a fierce leader and a fierce warrior, man. And I'm gonna be like, hey, what you need, son? That's it.
Well,
That's it.
you see you inspiring one of my guests here. Thank you, thank you, Princess, for tuning in to the show today. As we start to wrap up the show today, once again, thank you guys for coming on the show, dropping some big golden nuggets. That sounded really bad. I probably should have kept that in my head, but
Gold, baby. You think about gold, you think
Uh,
about the transition of this currency, baby.
yeah.
but most definitely, anything you guys want to say or shout out to the guests while you guys have them here.
Hey man, I just appreciate you having me like always, man. Hope to keep you seeing you, keep doing big things, and keep spreading the word, spreading just knowledge and opening up doors for other people to have a voice, bro. Love you.
Thank you. Love you too.
Yeah, man. Yo, your mustache is terrible. I just wanted to say that.
Man, look, man.
No,
Man, look,
man.
it's coronavirus, man. I'm just gonna.
Even though I got on the show by default, you know what I mean? I wasn't your first choice. You know what I'm saying? No, I appreciate it, man.
What? No, I'm just playing.
I appreciate you, man, considering me, man. It's always good to link back up with y'all, man.
For
What was
sure.
that? Burrow Street, Kent, Ohio. You know what I'm
Man,
Woo!
saying?
Borough Drive, bro.
Yes, sir.
Earl
Yes,
Drive.
sir. Burrow Drive. No, man, it's always a pleasure, man, linking up with y'all, man, and rekindling and man, just seeing your growth. I love you, man. Keep doing what you do.
And thank you, man. I feel the love coming in, making a. I got memories in my head, man, of all the times you would come in and shoot, you wake me up while I'm trying to sleep, or you and Sam sneaking in from wherever y'all was.
Oh, you a hater. Don't say that in front of Mama Perkins.
Oh, she out the house. We good. She out
Oh,
the
all
house. She out
right,
the house.
all
She
right,
out the
all
house.
right.
She out the house. She out.
Hey Sam, what's your time across the line, baby?
Sheesh.
No, it's all love though. It's all love, man. We gotta keep
All
it
love, yeah.
keep it alive.
What's
But yeah,
your
man.
time across the line?
Oh,
I have
you
no
already know.
idea. I'm still
It's
running.
gotta it's gotta be 49. What you mean?
I'm still
It's,
running.
I'm still running. See, that's what I'm
Still
saying. Growth, man. Growth. You surpassed 49.
oh, this is definitely one of the most favorite one of my most favorite episodes, man. I cannot wait to post this to all the audio, to all the listeners on the show. It's gonna be up at 9 o'clock tonight. So I gotta hurry up. But it's gonna be live on. Oh, it's gonna be live on Spotify. iTunes is pending. Make sure you guys go check this out. It's gonna be on the Brothers of Truth podcast, and make sure you guys tune in every Saturday and Sunday as we talk. Whatever the topic is, tomorrow we're gonna have 2 more guests on the show. We're gonna have 2 people who were not married, but tomorrow's episode. Make sure you guys tune in tomorrow. We're gonna be on Facebook and YouTube as we are today, and we're gonna talk again. We're gonna talk about relationships, and that's tomorrow at 7 o'clock. Make sure you guys tune in for that. So,
Cool.
thank you guys so much. You guys enjoy your evening.
Stu, the slow cooker. Appreciate you.
Anytime, man. Anytime, man. Next time, hey, we gotta get your wife on here next time. Next time we have a family episode. We gotta get your wife on here and get the kids on here, man.
She was there. She walked in when we were talking. I told her to come through. She didn't want to do it.
Man, you see Mama Perkins don't got no respect. She just be walking back and forth, camera
Walking back and forth, man. I was like, Mama.
I was like, you trying to talk? She's like, no, you recording. I was like, all right. But it's all right, man. Yeah, definitely tell them, man. Next time, come on in, man. It's all love here, man. On the Brothers of Truth podcast, man. That's what we do here.
Definitely, man. Tell Mama I love her, man. Tell Cam I love him, man. Y'all keep doing your thing. I love you, bro.
Most definitely.
All right, later.